Hello everyone, it's Chantel from Crocheting, and welcome to this tutorial on how to make an amigurumi moon. If you would like the PDF version of this pattern, please go check out my Patreon in the description, where all members of the And They Were Amigurumates tier get access to PDF versions of my patterns. And the materials that you'll need include a crochet hook, some scissors, a stitch marker, I personally use a bobby pin, a sewing or darning needle, 18mm safety eyes, polyfill stuffing, and some super bulky light gray yarn. And the abbreviations and terminology you will need to know include a magic ring, single crochet, increase, decrease, slip stitch, and fastening off. So to start, we will take our light gray yarn and create a magic ring. As some of you know, I like to close off my magic rings before working single crochets into them, so I find this helps prevent the yarn from snapping. And for row 1, you will simply work 6 single crochets into the magic ring. And this is what it should look like. And for row 2, you'll simply do 6 increases around, and by the end of the row, you should have a total of 12 stitches. For row 3, we are going to work a single crochet and then an increase for a total of 6 times around, and by the end of the row, you should have a total of 18 stitches. For row 4, we are going to be increasing once again, and to do that, we are going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase for a total of 6 times, and by the end of the row, you should have 24 stitches. And this is what your work should look like. For row 5, we are simply going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase for a total of 6 times, and by the end of the row, you should have a total of 30 stitches. Moving on to row 6, we are going to repeat doing 4 single crochets and then an increase for a total of 6 times, and by the end of the row, you should have 36 stitches. We are now going to be moving on to our last row of increasing. For this row, we are going to do 5 single crochets and then an increase for a total of 6 times, and by the end of the row, you should have 42 stitches. And this is what your work should look like so far. I'm going to do the next 8 rows off camera, as For these rows, you will simply be doing single crochets. So that is a total of 42 stitches around per row for a total of 8 rows. I have finished doing the 8 rows of single crochet, and now we will start to decrease our moon. So for this row, we are going to do 5 single crochets and then a decrease for a total of 6 times. By the end of the row, you should have 36 stitches. And then for the next row, we are going to do 4 single crochets and then a decrease for a total of 6 times. By the end of the row, you should have a total of 30 stitches. We are now going to decrease to 24 stitches around, and to do that we will do 3 single crochets and then a decrease for a total of 6 times. And this is what your work should look like so far. We are now going to insert our safety eyes. And you will insert the eyes between rows 11 and 12. I decided that I wanted my eyes to be 10 stitches apart, but you may prefer to have them closer. And this is what it should look like with the eyes on. And now we are going to begin stuffing. And this is what it should look like, and now we are going to continue to decrease. For this next row, we are simply going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease for a total of 6 times, and by the end of the row, we should have 18 stitches. We are now going to decrease to 12 stitches around, and to do that we are going to do a single crochet and then a decrease for a total of 6 times. And then for this last row, we are going to decrease to 6 stitches around, and to do that, simply work 6 decreases around. And then to fasten off, simply slip stitch into the next stitch, cut a tail, and taking your darning needle, sew the opening closed. And this is what your moon should look like. Next, we are going to get started on the craters. So to start the crater, simply insert your hook into a random place on the moon. Attach your light gray yarn, and then chain 1. And for the craters, we are going to do surface single crochets. It's hard to explain, so just see my example on the screen. You will work these surface single crochets in a circular shape to create the illusion of craters. And to finish off the crater, simply slip stitch into the first stitch you made and cut a tail. I am going to be making the remainder of my craters off camera. Place them in various spots around the moon and in different sizes. This is what my moon looks like after adding all of the craters, and I am so happy with how it turned out. And just a reminder that if you would like the PDF version of this pattern, to go check out my Patreon, the link is in the description. And if you're interested in making different sized moons, feel free to go check out the video in the iCard in the top right hand corner, where I go over how to make different sized spheres, and you can use that to make your moons bigger or smaller. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe and give this video a like, as all of the support really helps motivate me to continue making free patterns such as this one. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in the next video.